Guys, welcome back to our tutorial series, making our very first game. What we're going to do today is make a points object. So we're going to use coins. We're just going to collect some coins around the room. And kind of an oversight on my part, we're also going to fix up the player's animation. I think we're going to do that right away. So we're going to make him move up, down, left, and right. While he's not moving, he'll be standing still. So let's jump into our very first game. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go to your sprites and right-click S player and hit duplicate. So we're going to duplicate him. You can drag that right underneath your player and rename it to S player up. And you can rename the other one right here in your asset browser, F2, to S player down. So open up the new one that you just made, S player up. And what we're going to do is make a version of the player character that is walking upward. So all you have to do is edit image. This is actually super simple. Should only take a second. And we're going to erase his face, give him a bit more hair in the back, and depending on your character, you can do it however you please. So I'm just going to use my magic wand with W, copy that, Control C, and go frame by frame, giving him his hair, and then obviously getting rid of that mouth. So it kind of looks like he's walking upwards now, except this arm is his other arm, and I'm not an artist, so I'm going to just kind of, I think that looks good. So there we go. It kind of looks like he's walking up to the right. So we can save that. That's him moving up, and that was, that's all it really takes is a little bit of quick duplicating and a quick edit. So exit out of that at the top there. Now we have a sprite for him moving up, and we have a sprite for him moving down. My specific sprite, you can see that it looks like it's kind of facing to the right, and even the up one, it looks like it's facing to the right. So I'm going to show you how we can animate it properly so it stops moving, and how we can make him look up and down. So go to your objects, O player, and down here, underneath where it says depth, enter. So we can comment it, animate properly. So what we're going to want to do is gather the inputs and make an if statement for each one. And excuse me, there's a hair in my mouth. And for each of those if statements, we'll give it something to do. So we'll say if move R bracket if move up bracket if move L bracket if move down bracket. So if we're moving right, we've got to do two things. We've got to make sure that our X scale, which is the horizontal stretch to it, is 1, because we want it to be the default, moving to the right, being default. So we'll go and type in image X scale equals 1. And we'll also type in image speed equals 1, which means we're animating. As we're holding the right button, we want that image speed to animate. Now, if we're moving up, we need to do a couple things here. We'll have to change the sprite to S player up, because the player's moving up. So sprite index, which is the sprite that the object is using, equals S player up. And then we're moving up, so we've also got to change the image speed, make sure that it is 1. Now we only have to make the image speed 1 because we're going to eventually tell it that if we're not moving, it's going to be 0. So, I mean, normally we wouldn't have to just, if we're moving all the time, we don't always have to tell it image speed is 1, but because there's going to be an instance where it's 0, we have to make sure it's 1 when we're moving and 0 when we're not moving. Now, for move left, we're going to say sprite index. Nope, we're not going to say that. We're going to say image x scale equals -1. So what that's going to do is give us a mirror image on the x scale. So it's going to flip it. So now our player will be looking to the left. Image speed, again, equals 1 because we're moving. And move down, we're going to say sprite index equals s player down. So we'll make sure if we're moving down, the player down sprite is loaded up for the object. And again, image speed equals 1 because we're moving. Now the very last thing we'll do, I'm just going to kind of bunch them all together here. The very last thing we'll do down here is say if we're going to check if we're moving in any direction. If we're not, then we are going to pause animation and be the first frame of that animation, which is the standing still frame. So if move R plus move up plus move L plus move D down equals 0. So what that's saying is if it's looked at all those inputs and it says it's equal to 0, that means we're not moving. So image speed equals 0 and image index equals 0. So 0 as far as image index goes, that's the frame of the animation. Image index 0 is the very first frame of the animation. So now we've stopped animating and we're standing still on that frame. So that should function properly. Let's take a look. So as you can see, we are now moving right, left, down, and up. And then when we move up, it flips our image index, as you can see. One thing I didn't tell you to do that you'll have to do to make this work properly, go to your player sprite, S player down, and we're going to make sure to center the origin. So the origin is where the sprite draws its X and Y from. So the player's X and Y, because it's loaded to the player object, would be right here in the middle of his face, the center of his origin. All you have to do is go to this right here up at the top right of the sprite and say middle center. Then go to player up sprite as well, and we're going to say the origin point is the middle center. And that way it won't give you like a book page flipping feeling, because if it was the top left by default, then when we flip the X scale, it's actually going to flip it on that X, and the whole player would turn over 32 pixels to the left of itself. So we need to make sure it's centered, middle center, and that should work properly. So now we have an animation that runs properly. So now let's add a coin. So create, back in our asset browser over here, right click, create sprite. And this will be just a very simple 16 by 16 coin object. Ooh, not that big. You can use the circle brush up here, and what I'm going to do is just drag it down, and that looks good. Get a slightly darker shade of yellow and put that in the center. So that's a coin. If you want, you can make it spinny. That's not too difficult. Just add another frame. Add does that look normal. And then that would be that, and copy that. And I can only say it so much. I am not an artist at all. Let's cover up that, and then copy. Let's see, that looks pretty good. So now we've got a coin. Rename your sprite to S coin, and then we're going to create an object. Create object O coin, and we're going to drag our sprite over there. So now we've got our coin. We can go to the room and add a few coins. Room game. There we go. So now you can drag a couple coins in. There we go. And if you go back to your workspace here, change the FPS on your coin here to 10, just because 30 is going to look absurd. So let's hit play on that. There we go, that looks pretty good. So let's close all that. Now, just like the key, we've got to update when we've collected a coin. So you can take this here that says O key collision. You can right click duplicate event because it's going to be very similar. And then it's going to ask you what it is. It's a collision with the coin. So inside of the coin collision now, you'll just want to change, instead of where it says global key plus plus, we're going to say global coin plus plus. And it's telling us that we haven't created global coin. So copy global coin here. And if you remember, we're going to go to room init now. So now we've got the collision event with the coin. We tell it to gather the coin, add one, and then destroy it. So we are going to go to room init, down to the creation code, and this is where we're storing. I don't know why that opens up so small. This is where we're storing all of our global variables, and just right underneath of it, add global coin. So just like that, now we are keeping track of our coin count. We are going to have to display the coins now, just like we did the keys. So I'm going to go back to OPlayer. I'm going to hit F12, ungarble. We're going to go to the draw GUI event, and now we can do some more drawing of the coin where we're going to keep track of it. So you can take this line right here, draw sprite, extended S key, etc. Control C, go down underneath of it, and Control V. So these are things you'd want to comment. The top one, comment that to draw key. Comment this one, draw coin. So draw sprite extended. This time we're drawing S coin. We're drawing the 0th frame. X and Y are going to be different this time. The X will stay the same. The Y is going to be, so the sprite was a 16 by 16, and we drew the top sprite times 3 of that. So if that was 16 times 3, 32, 48. So we should be 48 under where we were there at least. So if we did it at 70, we should be safe. So now we're drawing the coin just underneath the key. We can leave the rest of that all the same. And now we've also got to draw exactly how many coins we've got. So we can call this key count. And let's copy that whole line and go underneath of it. And this will be our coin count. So just like that, we're drawing text transformed, 70, 20. Up here, you know what? Let's just make all this a little bit prettier. I'm going to just organize it a bit because it's kind of all over the place. We're going to put the font up there. We've got our key count line here. So draw sprite extended, then draw the text. Draw the sprite extended, draw the text, just so it's all together by itself here. So now I'll go over it again. I'm just kind of shuffling stuff all over the place. So draw sprite extended. This is for our key up top. And it's drawing at X10, Y10 on the key. Now down in this row, we're doing the coin. So X10, Y70. If we're going to follow suit, we'll do X70 here and Y80. And we should have, should be able to do it now. That looks like everything's in order. So we are drawing the coin sprite, and then we are drawing the text for, oh, here we go, for coin. So global, make sure you change this, string, global coin, to draw the coins. So hopefully that makes sense. I kind of threw everything in a different order there, but this is going to make it easier when you come back and you're looking at it saying, where did I do that? Now you'll be able to say, here's my key, here's my coin. So run the game, and we should hopefully be able to pick up some coins. There we go. So now we're running around, and you can see up at the top right, or sorry, the top left of the screen, our coins and keys are displayed properly. When we collect a coin, we get a coin. When we collect a coin, we get a coin. Oh, what is he doing here? We collect a coin, we get a coin, and then we can get our key. So now we've got a key. So that is how we would collect coins and keys and keep track of it all. And now our player animates. So we'll leave that today. And next time, we are going to be making a fireball shooter. That will be shooting fireballs and making life extremely difficult for our friend here. So I will see you next time. Leave a like if you made it through the whole thing and your brain didn't blow up, and leave a comment if you have a question, which you probably should, because I was very confusing this time. And I'll see you next time. Bye.